for all.
Secretary, call the roll.
Hemlock,
Here.
Shalata,
Here.
Dunlop, Casper,
Yeah, here.
Lloyd, here, Barry,
Here.
Nunza.
Here. 3.1, a review of budget and recommendation for adoption.
No, we're doing the budget hearing first.
That's what the budget hearing says.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the agenda.
Oh,
of
we're on the
hearing.
budget hearing one?
Yeah, we're currently on the budget hearing agenda.
Thank you.
Public hearing
Yes.
budget fiscal year '24.
All right, sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right, so can you see that okay on the
Yes.
screen there? I'm just going to sit here and talk from here. So this is the official budget hearing. And as a reminder of the budget timeline, last month we presented the preliminary budget, and the state procedure is that the budget has to be out there for 30 days, available for inspection in the business office. Then we have a public hearing, and then once that is done, then we are eligible to adopt our official budget for the year. So I just want to go over some highlights from the budget that's being presented tonight. So this is the overview. We're starting the year with a $40 million fund balance. We're presenting a deficit budget of 1.3 million, expenses over revenues, which would leave an ending fund balance of 39 million. And we talked about this last month, but I like to go through this little exercise. So the deficit is everything that we have done combined, but if you take out the things that are one-time costs, construction, property tax abatements, ESSER timing, meaning we spent the money last year, but we're getting the money reimbursed this year, then that leaves us with a surplus in our operating funds, our ongoing year-to-year things. These are not real numbers. We're not going to have a surplus of $2 million. It's just to show that if we took out all the one-time things, this is what it would have been. And we want that bottom line number to be a positive number. So that means we're on the right track and we're in good shape financially. Normally at this point, I would show you what has changed from the preliminary budget until now. And on the revenue side, there have been no changes. I think that's the first time in the 12 years that I've done this that there's been no changes. But we happen to get all our information early, got it into the preliminary budget, so no changes on the revenue side. And a reminder of where our revenues come from, local, state, and federal. And in as recently as 2 or 3 years ago, the local portion of our revenue was about 85%, state 10%, and federal 5%. So it has really shifted. That property tax relief grant has really helped shift, increasing the state portion and decreasing the local portion. But total revenue, 46.8 million. Here is how it has changed from last year. Local revenue is up $1 million, and about half of that is from increased interest income. Interest rates are significantly higher, so our investments are earning more income. And property tax, even though we're abating, we'll still get a little bit more in revenue than we did in the previous year. So local is up by $1 million. The state increase is all due to that property tax relief grant. That was an extra 1.2 million that will now be as a part of the state funding permanently going forward. And then federal is down a little bit, and that will continue to ramp down as those ESSER grants phase out. But overall, 46.8 million in revenue, which is an increase of $2 million over last year. On the expense side, we did have a few changes, but they were very minor. The total there at the bottom was 58,000. So these numbers will be 58,000 higher than we looked at last month in August. The main one was salaries. We hired 1.5 new paras since from last month to this month, and then some very minor changes in the other numbers. So here's how the budget looks. Here's where we spend our money. And again, 70% of our expenses are personnel, the salaries and benefits, with the other numbers lower. That other category is primarily our bond payments that we make every year, and then also our out-of-district special ed tuition. So total expenditures for the year, 48.1 million. And here's another way to look at it, how those numbers have changed from last year. So if you remember the revenue slide, revenues are up $2 million from last year. Expenses are only up $840,000 from last year. So our revenues actually rose faster than our expenses this year. And I kind of went through that fast, but that's the basic summary, ending where we started with. It's a deficit budget, but again, it's a deficit because of a number of one-time things. And we've kind of set a goal of 80 to 85% of fund balance, and that ending fund balance is 82% of our revenues. So we're in solid financial condition, kind of right where we want to be as far as our fund balance. It's not too high, it's not too low. And the district is looking good, I would say, financially.
Thank you. Any discussion from the board? No? Okay. 3.3, is there any public comment for the budget hearing? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn the budget hearing, please?
I move to adjourn the budget hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. Now I'm going to gavel us in for the regular meeting. We do not have to say the pledge again. Okay. Secretary, I do need you to call the roll, though, please.
Hemlock,
Here.
Chalada,
Here.
Dunlap, Casper,
Here.
Lloyd, here, Barry.
Here.
Nenza.
Here. Okay, 3.1, superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you. It's lovely to be here at Kruse tonight, so thank you to Principal Kim Hartnett and the Kruse staff for hosting the board meeting tonight. Thank you also to the Kruse PTO for providing the ice cream social, and to our board members for helping serve that ice cream. The faces on the children's face as they left the building demonstrated that they had just eaten ice cream. It's always, or two. Very nice. And also thank you to Mr. Molinez and Mr. Nelson for providing the music in celebration of the school's 50th anniversary. News for the board. Board members of public school districts are now considered mandated reporters in the state of Illinois. This is something that all of our employees experience. You might also know that doctors and police officers and firefighters, et cetera, are also mandated reporters. And as a mandated reporter, you're required to complete training once a year on the rules of mandated reporting and the method for how to make such a report. So you can look forward to hearing from Angela and Shar, who will be signing you up for our GCN training on mandated reporters. If you have any questions along the way, it's training that I've done every year for 20 whatever years, so I'm happy to help you. Curriculum nights are coming up. The elementary schools will host their families on September 14th and Central on September 21st. All of those events begin at 6 p.m. and we look forward to getting to know our parents a little bit better and helping our parents get to know what they can expect their child to be learning this year. I'd also like to celebrate with the board and the community our community adult ESL program. Once again, we're partnering with Governor State University to offer adult education in English. The program is free for any members of our community that live in our district boundaries. The district provides participants with a Chromebook to use and a headset for this during the sessions. Registration will be held on September 19th and 20th at the Ad Center. And there are 4 different courses offered: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and digital literacy. And the first session will run from October through December, and the second session February through May. This is one of the really special things that our district does in affecting the outcomes of our students by improving the conditions for their families and for our residents. And people who are alumni of that program celebrate it and its results. So I like to highlight that every year, just because I think it's one of those special things that we do over and above. And now for a transportation update, we'll start with regular education. Jeff Charleston?
Yes, so it's been a little bit of a bumpy start. This year, for the first time since COVID, we don't have any doubled up routes, which is nice. But the issue is, so we have 13 routes at Central Middle School, and of those 13, 8 of them run Orland routes first before they come to us. So even though they're not doubled, we have a number of them that are getting there late almost every day. So the bus company is aware that we're not happy. They're looking at possibly bumping up the Orland times 5 or 10 minutes so that they can get to us on time. They tell me, just today, they told me they have 7 people about a week away from completing training. So the hope is that once those people come on board, we can get our own dedicated drivers instead of those who are coming from somewhere else. So it's getting slowly better. The main problem is Central in the morning. The elementaries tend to be okay in the morning, and the afternoon tends to be smoother district-wide with the occasional hiccup. So Central in the morning is our main trouble spot, and we're working on fixing it.
Afternoon's good, because we get out.
For a little update about special education busing. Kelly?
Well, hold on. Sorry. Where's the button?
Thank you, Wendy.
Earlier than the grad. All right. Well, Jeff described gen ed transportation as bumpy. Ours has been a little bumpier. We did have, according to our special ed transportation company, we had about 10 bus drivers that we were short at the beginning of the school year. It's getting better in some locations, in some locations it is not. Right now at Memorial, we have occasionally a 10-minute late pickup. At Fierk, we're good both AM, PM. Fulton, AM and PM routes are running well. Kruse and CMS, we've had daily issues with our PM route. In most part because the CMS drivers are being used for the Kruse route. So by the time they're dropping the students off, if someone's delayed getting their child off a bus, because remember, we're door to door when it comes to specialized transportation, then that will delay that driver to go to the next spot. So we have struggled. I know at Kruse, our kids are waiting up to 40 minutes a day. Staff has been staying. We have been, compensating them for their supervision time during that time. I know Kim has been communicating with us daily on that. They keep assuring us it's going to get better, and then today they promised us, and it wasn't any better today. So we continue to work on that with them. It's just a matter of not having enough drivers for the routes. So we're really trying to do the best we can, but it's been bumpy. And I know that other districts in the area that are also using Sunrise for specialized transportation are feeling the same impact because of the driver shortage. So I'd like to say that it's been great, but we've had a rough start.
Our colleagues in other districts echo the same thing with other bus companies. It's really an industry-wide shortage, not just specific to our 2 bus companies. Thank you both. School improvement planning is well underway. That typically is an exercise that begins in the summer between principals and their staff school improvement teams. I'm making my way around to each principal to talk about their forecast for what we can expect in those plans and how those goals within their plans align with the board's goals for me as well as the strategic plan. And so far those conversations have been delightful. So as we get closer to school improvement plans, I'll be providing those to the board. Also on the horizon is our employee wellness screening and flu shot option. There are 3 different dates where district employees can come and get an annual wellness screening, and if they elect, also a flu shot. And Marion Bentley does a nice job arranging those, and I've been a participant for many, many years, and The results are always very user-friendly, and then I can have a conversation with my doctor with those results. And it's just a nice step in getting in front of employee health. So we appreciate Marion and Kelly's office for arranging that, and I know that that's something that's appreciated by our faculty and staff. We have 2 condolences this month. Kathy Doyle's husband passed away. Kathy was a teacher at Central for many years. Kristen Denoyer's mother, Lorraine Mary Petmuller, passed away. Kristen is a paraprofessional at Memorial, and our condolences go out to those families. And that's the superintendent's report.
Thank you. 4.1, union reports.
Okay, very brief. We're off and running. Although this is our first 5-day week, we started off with 3, then 4, then 4, so we've been kind of ramping up. Although, to be honest, some of those shorter weeks feel really long. The way it is, just trying to cram it all into shorter days sometimes. We've got MAC testing beginning, and we're kind of getting all ready for that. We have curriculum night, as Dr. Stewart mentioned, on Thursday, so the buildings are getting ready for presentations to parents. We're going to go through the different resources we use for curriculums, letting them know about the changes in the report card, trying to get them comfortable with that before they get sent out, and also show up the classrooms a little bit and have the kids kind of be able to walk around with the parents. They didn't always be able to do that on open house night, so this is kind of a chance for them now that they've been in the room for a few weeks to kind of, let their parents kind of see what they've been up to. So, other item was just, we recently had our first presentation with IMSA, and we had really positive feedback from that, so I just want to let you know that it seemed to go really well. It was interesting and interactive, so another hit. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. 5.1, citizens may address the board at this time. Seeing no citizens, can I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
I move that we adopt item 6.1, approval of minutes, 6.2, approval of closed session minutes, 6.3, approval of the destruction of closed session tapes, 6.4, approval of financial items, and 6.5, approval of personnel items.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Hemlock,
Yes.
Chulada,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 6.6, approval of budget for fiscal year '24.
Yes, that's the budget, as presented in the budget hearing. We just need the board to ratify that budget, and then we'll need all of your signatures on the budget itself.
I actually don't need the signatures
need the
anymore. We
signatures.
can just type it in.
Do it virtually.
Yeah.
Great. Is there a motion?
I move the Board of Education adopt the fiscal year 2024 budget as presented at the budget hearing.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Hemlock,
Yes.
Chulada,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Lloyd, yes, Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes. 7.1, Illinois School Code required disclosure.
Yes, the Illinois School Code requires taxing bodies to present in public teacher, administrator, and staff persons whose total compensation exceeds $75,000. And you'll find all of 146's employees that do in the 3 attachments in board docs.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. 7.2, equipment to be declared as surplus for sale, donation, or disposal.
Yes, as you know, the board needs to declare items of previous value as surplus before we can donate them, sell them, dispose of them. And you'll find attached in board docs a list of formerly valuable, now outdated surplus technology equipment. And we'll be asking you to declare those items in surplus in the regular October meeting so that we can do away with them.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none. 7.3, CMS band trip.
Yes, so I found out this morning, or recently, I should say, that Jason is planning another band trip for the band. But he said it's a surprise, and he asked me not to share. So the board only has an attachment in board docs that has a proposed itinerary and such. And I'll be asking the board to approve this trip, as the board needs to approve all trips of a certain distance or trips that are overnight. And I'm not telling you whether this one is of the distance or overnight, but I will tell you that it's one or the other or both. And I'll ask the board to approve that trip at the regular October meeting. So if you'd like to learn more and not reveal it to anybody, you can find that information in board docs.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to go into closed session. Can I have a motion, please?
I
Move
move
that
we
we-
go into closed session.
You have to say
How I said it.
for the, which types?
Oh, I missed it. Hold on. Go ahead, you can go.
Litigation and personnel.
Not in there. Oh, there it is. Hold on, I'm getting there. Sorry, I was reading something. It's not in there. There it is.
Amy, you'll find the suggested motion under the personnel one, under 8.2.
No. Where do you see it? Oh. Sorry, I was on 8.1.
Doing great.
No, I got it. Oh, no, I don't. Why is mine not there? I move that the Board of Education go into closed session to discuss personal matters and a litigation matter.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Secretary, call the roll, please.
Hammernick.
Yes.
Shalata.
Yes.
Casper.
Yes.
Lloyd, yes. Barry.
Yes.
Nenza.
Yes, we are in closed session.
There
There
it
will be
is.
no action following closed. Thank you, everyone.
Do it. Thank you. I don't like this.
Where